When you talk about legendary sports cars, one name instantly lights up the room, and that's the Toyota Supra. The Supra has become more than just a car, it's an icon, a cultural phenomenon, and for many, a dream machine. Today we're diving into both the MK4 Supra, the 1990s hero that gained worldwide fame, and the modern MK5 Supra, Toyota's reborn legend. We'll break down how they look, how they feel on the inside, the performance they deliver, and of course, what kind of price tags they carry. By the end, you'll see why these two generations of Supra, though decades apart, still fuel the same fire in car enthusiasts across the globe. Let's start with the MK4 Supra, the one from the 1990s that still makes car fans weak in the knees. This car has one of the most instantly recognizable exteriors of its time. The long, swooping hood, wide stance, muscular fenders, and the signature rounded headlights all gave it a presence that screamed pure sports car. And let's not forget that iconic rear wing that could be spotted from a mile away. It wasn't just there for looks, it helped with stability at high speeds, but it became a trademark styling cue. Even today, when one passes by, it turns heads like nothing else. Inside the MK4, Toyota designed a cockpit that felt ahead of its time. The dash was angled toward the driver, giving it a true driver-focused feel, almost like sitting in a fighter jet. The materials weren't overly luxurious by modern standards, but they were solid and built to last. Supras from the 90s still hold up really well inside because of how Toyota engineered their interiors. Everything from the deep bucket seats to the analog gauges was about putting the driver at the center of the experience. It wasn't flashy, but it was purposeful. Now, let's talk about what really made the MK4 Supra a legend: performance. The car came with several engines worldwide, but the crown jewel was the 2JZ GTE, a 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-six that, in stock form, made around 276 horsepower in Japan due to a gentleman's agreement, and closer to 320 horsepower in the US. But here's where the Supra really earned its reputation. That engine was built so strong, with forged internals, that it could handle insane levels of tuning. People were pushing 600, 800, even over 1000 horsepower with the 2JZ, and the block could take it. That's why it became the darling of street racers, drag strips, and of course, Hollywood with movies like The Fast and the Furious. Performance-wise, even in stock form, it was no slouch. 0 to 60 was in the low 5-second range, and the car had incredible balance with rear-wheel drive and a smooth 6-speed manual. When it was new, the MK4 Supra wasn't cheap, but it wasn't exotic car money either. In the mid-1990s, it cost around $40,000 to $50,000 depending on trim. Fast forward to today, and if you want a clean, low-mileage MK4 with a manual and turbo, you're looking at six figures, sometimes well over $150,000. That's how high the demand has pushed values, and it shows how legendary this car has become. Now let's jump forward to the present day with the MK5 Supra, which Toyota brought back in 2019 after nearly 2 decades of silence. This car had massive shoes to fill, and fans had all eyes on it to see if it could carry the torch. The exterior design immediately made waves. Some people loved it, others weren't so sure, but one thing's for sure, it's aggressive and unmistakable. The long hood remains, paying homage to the MK4, but the MK5 has sharper lines, sculpted vents, and a more futuristic feel. The double bubble roof design, wide rear hips, and those bold LED taillights give it a modern supercar-like vibe. Whether you love or hate the styling, you can't deny it stands out. Inside the MK5, Toyota stepped things up big time in terms of modern technology and comfort. The cabin feels more premium than any Supra before it, with leather, Alcantara, and solid build quality. The infotainment system is BMW sourced, since Toyota partnered with BMW to build this car, and that partnership shows throughout the interior. You've got a digital cluster, a high-resolution screen, and features like Apple CarPlay, navigation, and modern driver assists. Some purists complained it felt too much like a BMW Z4 inside, but there's no doubt it gives you a more upscale and refined environment than the old MK4. The seats hug you tight, the driving position is low and sporty, and it feels like a proper modern sports car. Performance is where the MK5 carries on the Supra tradition. The heart of this car is a BMW-sourced 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-six, the B58 engine, making around 335 horsepower in early models and later bumped up to about 382 horsepower. That might not sound like the insane tuning potential of the 2JZ, but the B58 is no slouch. It's powerful, smooth, and very tunable in its own right. In real-world performance, the MK5 Supra is a rocket. 0 to 60 happens in just about 3.8 seconds, which makes it quicker than the old MK4 by a long shot. The car is rear-wheel drive, and while at launch it only came with an 8-speed automatic, it's a fantastic transmission that ships lightning fast. Toyota eventually added a 6-speed manual option in later years to please the purists, and that gave fans the classic driver engagement they were begging for. Handling-wise, the MK5 is sharp, agile, and feels at home both on the street and the track. Price-wise, the MK5 Supra comes in a lot cheaper than what you'd pay for a MK4 in today's collector market. Brand new, it starts around $45,000 to $55,000 depending on trim and options. That puts it in direct competition with cars like the Porsche Cayman, BMW M2, and Chevrolet Corvette.